Growing up, wow. Well, let's just say that it wasn't the best experience for me. Um, I had a couple of things that people would say to me that they thought was okay. Number one, they would call me high yellow. They would say, "Hey, yellow girl," like that was some kind of compliment. Then I had thick calves to be, I wasn't oh, a heavy set. I wasn't heavy at the time, but I had really thick calves. And it was this one family, the mom, who was a large lady herself, would always say, "Look at them tree trunks. Look at them tree trunk legs." And I feel like as a child, at the time being a child, when I look back on it, adults literally do not respect children in the fact of knowing the things they say to them can cause great harm when they grow up. I was teased because of my complexion. I was teased because I had a different father than my siblings. My father was handicapped and an alcoholic. But what hurt more than anything was when I was outside of my home, people who would call me, "Hey, you so pretty to be light skinned. You so pretty. You a pretty old yellow girl." Like I was never just pretty because I was a human being or pretty because I was a girl. It was always a reason for my beauty. It was never, "You're pretty." It was never, "You so cute." It was always, "You so cute to be yellow. Oh, you got some good hair. Oh, what you mix with?" It was never a one-sided compliment. It was always a backhanded compliment. Like when I did gain weight, people were like, "Oh, you so pretty to be a big girl. Oh, you so pretty to be fat." Like it was an amazement to them. Like I was a zoo animal, and it was like, "Oh, do tricks. Show us some tricks." And so as I got older, I stopped accepting compliments. I never thanked people. I always would say, "No, I'm not." Or if somebody said, "You are so pretty to be big," I'd be like, "I'm really not that big or that pretty, so thank you for nothing." Or if somebody would say something to me like, "Oh, you got some thick calves. You must have ran a lot when you was in high school or middle school or younger." I would say, "Oh, thanks for noticing. Wow, you really, my whole body, that's what you picked to talk about." And then I started realizing I have to figure a way around these backhanded compliments because it was eating at my self-esteem, which I already had very low self-esteem from my own family, constantly berating me, belittling me, making me feel less than, literally like I was just the ugliest thing on the earth. And then I look at them now as adults, and then I look back at pictures of us growing up, and I'm like, so were they jealous of me? Because I never want to get the big head and think that someone is jealous of me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was I had to tell myself this was something that somebody else put in their heads to say. Because one child looking at another child would not know to say to that child, "Oh, you dark skin. Oh, you light skin. Oh, you got bad hair. Oh, you got good hair." They have to hear someone put that in their mind or in their brains for them to repeat it out their mouths. Because if you never knew what the color blue was, how could you tell somebody, "Oh, that's blue"? If you weren't trained or taught to love or hate, how would you know how to love or hate? If you weren't told, no, 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 you don't tell somebody their calves look like tree trunks. If you heard your mother, your father, or whoever, an adult, telling another adult, "That girl got some big old trunk legs, them legs look like tree trunks," and you walk by and you hear this, now you thinking, they said it to each other, so why can't I say it to other people? So whatever we as children hear, we think it's okay to repeat. And even when we're told, "You better not repeat nothing that was said in my home," or "You better not be going out here telling people what's going on in my house," that's not the same as you sitting me down saying, "I'm sorry you heard me say that that child's legs look like tree trunks. I shouldn't have said that." Don't repeat that. Or that's not the same as you calling me high yellow or telling me you must think you pretty because you high yellow. That's not the same as you sitting your children down saying, you know what, I shouldn't have said that about her. She's me and her the same color. We both high yellow. So why am I hating on one high yellow person to another high yellow person when everybody else is darker complected? So I was unfortunately colorized in my own home. I was told that my color was ugly. I wasn't the same color as my siblings. They're my half siblings, so of course I understood later after I met my father why I was high yellow. My dad was high yellow. My biological mother was high yellow. So it was things that I just didn't understand. Why did it have to be made known? Why did it have to be discussed or to make me feel bad about myself? Why couldn't it just be she's high yellow, but we won't say nothing about it? It's not for us to tell her. It's not for us to do nothing about it. So then I started hating dark skinned people. I literally hated dark skinned people. And when I say hate, I mean in my heart, I wanted to be even lighter than what I was. I wanted to be lighter. I didn't want to have no colors comparisons with them. I didn't want people to see me and assume that I was related to them. I didn't want to look like them. I didn't want to act like them. I didn't want to be nothing like them. They made me hate people based on race. And then the lady who used to talk about my legs, calling my calves tree trunks, she made me hate dark skinned people because she was a bigger dark skinned woman. She was a big woman. Uh, she weighed a good 300-400 pounds probably, and she was big herself. So that's why now that I'm an adult, I see why she was constantly putting me down unintentional. She probably had an issue with my color, even though she had a couple of very yellow daughters who was yellow as me. So I don't know, but I think that it comes back from generations of trauma, generations. Like they moms may have said stuff to them, and then their mom said something to their moms, and so nobody broke it. Nobody stopped. Nobody stopped and said, color doesn't matter, size doesn't matter. It's about the heart. Nobody stopped and said, no, no, no. We love everybody. It was not my children's fault if they didn't have the same father. It was not my children's fault if they're different complexions. Nobody stopped and said, hey, just because you got the same mom and same dad don't mean you're all going to be the same color, the same size. Just as long as you all have a loving, kind spirit, heart, mind, and soul, that's what counts. So we forgot to implement love and affection in our children and our families, and we allow them to belittle one another. Because when I see two kids outside, and it was a set of twins, I'm gonna tell you, it was a set of twins. One twin told the other twin, "You ugly. I look better than you." I was just devastated. Like this was recently. This was right before the whole Corona thing took place. I was devastated to hear these twins, about 10 years old, between 10 and 12, and one told the other one that she looked better, and they looked exactly alike. And I was just like, wow. And this is still going on in that was 2019, but this is still going on in 2020. The things that happened decades and decades and decades ago is still happening today. People are still forgetting to give their children love, respect, honor, and to teach them that if you make a mistake, we can fix it. But if you hide it, we can't because we don't know. They're forgetting to teach their children that they're human beings. They deserve to be loved. They deserve to be respected. And they're forgetting to give their children that. When my children were growing up, I got on their nerves. I was always hugging them, kissing them. I hug them in the morning. I brush your teeth, wash your face, get a kiss. Eat your breakfast, take them to school. I even got to the point I didn't want to be away from my kids. I worked at their school. I love my children. I respect my children. I train my children. You can speak up, but do not call me a liar. That's one thing I never allow my children to say the word liar. They can say, Mom, that's not true. Or Mom, I don't remember that happening. But I also taught my children, you don't speak over other adults. you come to me in private and say, Ma, you said this, and that wasn't true. Because I didn't never want to take my children's voice away from them, but also I didn't want my children feeling that they were so grown that they could just say anything at any time in any conversation. So I gave them an even balance. I made sure that they had a voice, but I made sure they knew when they could use their voice, but never to belittle them or make them feel like children should be seen or not heard. Never, 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 never did I do that with my children. If I did something wrong, they could come whisper in my ear and be like, Mommy, you just lied, or Mommy, I don't remember that happening. Because just because they didn't see it happen, hear it happen, or know it happened, don't mean that it didn't happen. But if they were there and saw, heard, or knew, I don't want to sit there and lie and then my children have to cover for me. That's how we that's how we turn our children into liars. And then we have the audacity to call them liars after we have trained them to be liars, after we have taught them how to lie, after we have implanted that in their brains. This is mommy's on the phone. I'm talking to a bill collector, and instead of telling the bill collector, I'm sorry, I just don't have the money right now, I'll make some payment arrangements as soon as I get the money. It's like, oh no, you had the wrong number. Oh no, she not here. And your child is sitting there listening to you tell this lie and say that you're not there. That, I'm using her phone. Because I too have told lies in the past to bill collectors. But we got to understand, as adults, whatever we do, children mock us. Children learn from us. We are their first educator before they even start school. So the education that we implement in our children is what they're going to take to school with them. So don't be getting mad at these teachers when they tell you your child is bad, your child's a liar, your child's a drama queen or king, your child keeps up a mess. Because if you are a messy parent, you're going to have messy children. If you're a respectful parent, you're going to have respectful children. If you're a tell it like it is parent, you're going to have tell it like it is kids. If you're a liar, you're going to raise liars. Whatever you, as the adult, that's what you're going to have for your children. Stop pretending that you don't realize that your behavior affects your children, because you know when you sit back and you tell your stories about my mama said we wasn't in before the street lights. Okay, right there lets you know you had something from your parent that you had to carry with you all your life. So just as you carry stuff with you all your life, when your mama said, I cook, you going to eat what's in there or you ain't going to eat it all. So that goes with you teaching your children. If you tell your child a lie, they're going to be a liar. If you tell your children, be home before the street lights come on, you got that from your parent, now they're going to get it from you. If you tell your kid, I'm not cooking nothing separate, what I cooked is what you eat or you don't eat it all, then your child is going to feel that way. Like, okay, well, my mom cooked liver. I don't like liver, so now I'm going to be hungry. Oh, my mom cooked chicken breast. I don't like chicken breast, so now I'm going to be hungry. So whatever you implement in your children, that is what your children will grow up to implement in their own homes, in their own brains. And they will feel the same way, that if my mama did it to me, I'm going to do it to my children. We have to break the cycle. We have to stop lying in front of our children, stop lying to our children, stop lying on our children, which is another one I hate. Stop using your kid's social security number. Get yourself together. This is 2020. Fix your credit. Do what you need to do as an adult so that you can teach your children how to be adults. Because one thing, remember this if you don't remember, nothing else I said through this whole video. If you don't teach your children to be productive citizens, where they gonna learn it at? In these jail cells? In the graveyard? On these streets? Prostituting? With these men? Trying to buy love? No. Teach your children at home. Implement love, peace, and security, and the right way to live as best as your ability. And then your children will have a better outcome. If you don't, you'll know. Because either you'll be reading about your child or you'll be visiting your child. Well, Corona here, so you won't get to visit them. So make better decisions, parents. Do better. You know better. Do better. Be better. Thanks for listening, and I'm out of here.